guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
Mark.
And I'm Jay.
All right, guys, this week we are going to be covering something that we've been talking about for a little while, and it's actually going to be our sort of subdivision series on here. We're going to be doing Injustice, all of the books, video games, the comics, etc. We're going to try to dive deep into it, give our opinions, our thoughts, comments, concerns, etc. So this is going to be sort of what I would consider like a filler. If you guys want to listen to it, what I will do is set it up as a subdivision show on our podcast page, so you guys can check it out, and we'll go from there. So, Mark, we'll start with you. I know you've probably read this multiple times. You know it pretty well in depth. So, we're going to do Injustice Year 1. Give me some thoughts.
Honestly, it's in one of the alternate universes where basically Superman becomes what Batman's always feared. He becomes like a tyrant. So just off that basis alone, like Jay, I know you're a huge Superman fan, so you'll probably agree with me when you say in like the cartoons, I always feel like Superman's kind of reserved. This is where you kind of get to let him see him take the chains off and kind of really do what he wants to fucking do. Like, I mean, it takes him hours to wipe out in every single military and have everyone come to like a ceasefire worldwide because they're just fucking scared of him. Throughout the series, he eventually becomes the Yellow Lantern, basically.
Yeah, that's like 2 years down the line, though.
No, that's 2 years down the line, but I'm just saying the fact that like this Superman's OP as it is, but this is like another level of OP.
Okay, for all the people that are listening that don't know, the comic starts off with Superman and Batman basically talking, and Superman asked Batman to be the Godfather. This is another universe. This is another universe, right? Correct terms to use. Okay, this is another universe. It's not the normal one that everybody knows. Superman and Lois are married. Superman asks Batman to be the Godfather to their unborn child, and in this same time, Joker kidnaps Lois Lane and kills Jimmy Olsen.
So let's also note that like in this timeline, or well, I guess this universe, superheroes are like well revered. They're not something to, be feared, or Batman's just basically like out there doing his thing. Superman's out there doing his thing. Nobody really cares. They're kind of like, again, Injustice, gods among us. These are revered as gods among the people, the men and women of the world. So,
in the beginning, it follows the normal timeline of where like the heroes are heroes.
Correct.
The villains are villains. Right. So like they stay in their normal thing to start, but then it literally in the first episode just kicks it up to 100 when Joker kidnaps Lois and just
uses Scarecrow's
Scarecrow's fear gas mixed with
kryptonite
to get it into Superman's blood, and then has Superman kill his own wife and unborn child.
Yep, he thinks it's Doomsday, freaks out, takes, who he thinks is Doomsday up into space to kill him.
Got the bomb rigged to her heart rate.
Yeah, as soon as her heart stops, the bomb goes off.
So not only did Superman kill his wife and his unborn child, but he also was the reason why the nuke went off in his city that he's supposed to be
killing. I forget how bad they said the numbers were, but it was very high casualty rate.
Absolutely.
Flash did everything he could to save as many people, but obviously you can only do so much, even going that fast with a nuke going off. So the next big thing you see is after that is Superman's obviously distraught and finds Joker and rips his heart out.
Yep.
With his bare hand.
Yeah.
Bare hand into chest and takes it out.
Can we also make note that before he even does that, he literally just, without even having to throw a punch, takes out the Green Lantern. Like he literally just is so fast, he just wipes the ring off him midair and just lets him fall to the ground and almost die, just to kind of prove like, yo, don't fuck with me. And then he takes his communicator and just destroys it so he can't warn anybody. Like, can we not just look past that point?
Yeah.
Like you said, this is like as OP as Superman is going to get. And again, he's fueled by rage, regret, remorse, like, oh, all of these horrid emotions, because he realizes that he is the reason that, his wife and, like you said, unborn child are now dead. So, I respect the fact that he's pissed off. I would be too. It's the Joker's fault. So, who else do you got to kill but the Joker? And so, like I was saying, it's Batman's interrogating him at the police station. That's when Superman busts in and does his fucking thing. So, moving forward from there. All right, Mark. So, after the death of the Joker, then we see the deterioration of Superman's, mental stability.
Well, no, that's when it carries over to Harley Quinn's storyline at the time, where she's being transported, basically, and she gets saved by the Green Arrow, basically, because he knows that she's next on Superman's list, and he doesn't agree with what they did, but he can't allow himself to just let Superman murder her.
Sure.
This is where you start to see the divide in the heroes.
Absolutely.
And the two very far sides.
Going through it, it sort of gave me that, Civil War vibe. Again, I'm more of a Marvel guy anyway, but that's like the Accords basically, but without laws. This is more morality based, I guess. So, it's an interesting thing to see on the DC side. Again, I don't know a ton about these heroes. I know the basics, but it's quite a lot. So go ahead, Jay. Give me your thoughts on the next, I guess, part of the book.
Trying to think what immediately follows. Is it followed by Superman goes to jail was the next part, or is it when he goes to the other third world country?
No, I'm pretty sure it's when he basically, this is the ceasefire part where he just starts flying around.
Okay, so yeah, he goes. The next part is he goes to the third world country.
Well, the first part is he's sitting down and he finally is listening in on all the newscasts that are broadcasting about what happened, and then that fuels him. Yeah, he goes to Baila and basically takes out an entire army unit and saves the little kid.
Yeah, but as you can see, Superman at this point, Superman's got a full kind of scruffy beard. He doesn't look like Superman. You can tell something's wrong, and Wonder Woman comes and is talking to him, and he's like, I have something to say. And she's like, not now. Clean yourself up and we'll have a press conference. And then you see Superman leave to go do what he's got to do. And then Ares comes. And Ares and her have a conversation. Right? Am I in the right part of this book? Am I thinking something else?
They have the press conference where he was basically like, look, everybody come to a ceasefire. And then that's when they run the Black Ops operation to kidnap his parents. And then they put them in the mirror world.
That's, Mirror Master.
And I thought that was a brilliant move, honestly. We have this basically God that's finally unhinged. What can we do to control him? Oh, his parents? All right, let's do what the fuck we can to grab them. And putting him in the mirror force to where he wouldn't be able to sense them. That's really smart.
Yeah. And again, at this point, it's everybody, I wouldn't say necessarily against Superman, but trying to calm him down to the point where he's not going full rage monster on the rest of the world. And he's got that good initiative, bad judgment style thing going. He wants to stop all world wars, all the fighting that's going on, but the way he's going about it is basically through murder and force.
Right. And basically from there, that's when you see them interrogating all the villains. So you got Shazam attacking Grodd, you got Cyborg fighting you got all the guys going after everyone.
Killer Croc.
Right, trying to get the location of them. It leads them to the bar where they eventually find them because Raven's a fucking OP player too, and just dipped in and was like, hey, I found you. Pulls him straight out of Mirror World. Then they use the lasso to find his parents. That's when Superman then goes to the president, or Batman goes to the president, and he's like, yo, you really fucked up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's crazy that the president in this universe is sort of tied into the whole conspiracy theory.
Right. Because then this is where you see Wonder Woman taking out like an entire air fleet, and then this is where you get
Ares comes. Yeah, sorry. I keep getting a little confused. It's been a little bit since I read through the whole book. I know all the main points. I just kind of get a little mixed where they land.
Yeah, because this is where you end up getting Ares, and then she fights him.
Yeah, she fights Ares, which I wasn't expecting, but at the same time,
I mean, you knew it was coming. I mean, that's who Wonder Woman's main villains are. Whenever you see the Greek gods, like usually they're on the opposing side of Diana. Like even though she's from Themyscira, she usually goes against like the will of them. But yeah, so then they fight. Superman shows up, and basically Wonder Woman just fucking shreds Ares.
she takes his hand off and then buries her sword in his chest.
Yeah, like she just straight fucks him up. But then this is where we carry over now to the Bat family and what's going on there. So you see, Damian training with Dick, who's now Nightwing. And
then Damian, they kind of hit a foreshadow moment here because Damian gets mad that Dick wins the fight and launches the staff he has in his hand at Dick's head, and luckily Superman was there to catch it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Superman starts talking to Bruce, and Bruce is trying to calm him down. He's like, dude, you're scaring the people. You need to chill and stuff. This is when you really start seeing Superman's psyche really starting to kind of believe in his own hype, to say. He knows what he's capable of now and everything. So he's basically telling Bruce that he's still trying to get Bruce to join him, basically.
Yeah, the big thing he says here too that just kind of brings out through the rest of the story is one death to save millions.
Yeah. So and again, Superman sort of vis-a-vis blames Batman for Lois's death because Batman was unable to stop the Joker prior to now. How many people have died? How many people have been murdered or due to Joker or anything that Joker has caused? What has happened now? I mean, even hell, look at Jason Todd based on the timeline. Everyone that has died because Batman has not stopped Joker is Batman's fault.
Yeah. That could have been a whole lot of lives saved at that point.
Correct. And again, Superman obviously not thinking clearly, realizing that he's fucking unstoppable is the easiest way to put it, is just straight up fucking everybody up. So he wants Batman on his side, or at least to agree with him that dude, it had to happen. I don't care what your views are on murder. This needed to be done. So, and after that, we jump into the Atlanteans, correct?
Yes. The next thing you see is Aquaman's basically saving a whale from a boat. And he gets very angry.
Pretty much, and he starts fucking gathering a mount to attack land because he's sick of them attacking his whales and shit. And then that's when Wonder Woman's like, "Hey,
we said no fighting anybody," and
he's trying to say out of all of it, he's like, "I don't care." You do.
He's
your
like,
thing.
Yeah, he's like, you rule your land, I'll rule my kingdom. At that point, basically.
Right, and Superman's like, no. But then, Aquaman basically attacks Wonder Woman. Honestly, I thought this was one of the best storylines through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because then Shazam basically goes after him, and then they're all fighting amongst each other.
Well, yeah. He also Aquaman is kind of dope. Aquaman releases the Kraken.
Yeah,
and
that was
he just
fucking amazing.
He has basically every superhero just entailed in the Kraken, and then here comes Superman.
Right, and right before that, you get for me, Alfred's one of my favorite lines of Alfred throughout the entire thing. Superman's still in the Batcave when he's leaving. he's like not staying for Team Mr. King. He's like, remember, Alfred, you don't got to call me Master. And Alfred's like, yeah, good. Let's remember that. Like,
Yeah.
which is like foreshadowing for like the end of the story when, Alfred fucks his day up because people forget that in his heyday, Alfred actually was like a special forces military, like,
He's a bad motherfucker.
operative. Like, it's not like he's just this old guy walking around. Like,
Oh, and then so back where we're at in the story, the next thing that really happens is Superman wins the fight, basically makes Aquaman his bitch, and then just takes Atlantis and Atlantis?
in the desert.
Atlantis.
Yeah, and puts it in the middle of the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
Atlantis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes underwater, digs up
Picks up the entire
desert.
city and then just drops it in the middle of a desert. Like,
Yeah, he's
fuck with
like-
me, bro.
Yeah, so he's literally saying, like, Arthur, don't forget, he's acknowledging he's strong, but he's like, yo, don't forget, like, I'll fuck your day up.
I just took your entire city. Now what?
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna fucking do about it?
Yeah. And then you get into the little kid who wanted to be a superhero in Australia that Superman literally breaks back in like 4 spots because he just wanted to stand up for his people.
It's him and Wonder
And, like,
Woman.
Yeah, him and Wonder Woman. And Flash is like talking about it and how he's sad and like realizing that Flash was that kid's hero.
Well, even before he even knew that, Flash literally says to himself, like, he could see it, and he could have stopped it in that instant, and he didn't do shit. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, wow. But yeah, no, he's pretty toasted after, getting slammed through this fucking concrete.
Yep.
So that's when he then goes to the place and she explains that like the kid was his hero and he takes him and just fucking runs off.
I mean, big thing for me, especially like part 1 takeaway is you see the divide in the heroes, and you see Superman and basically Wonder Woman, who's stuck by his side from the beginning. They're starting to like drive that wedge deeper and deeper. And you start to see, in the beginning, it was like Batman and Dick Grayson, maybe, Green Lantern. And they're like, all right, like, Superman, you got to chill the fuck out, man. And then he slowly starts like peeling away other Justice League members. They're like, all right, this is a little fucked up now. Like, maybe we shouldn't be doing
He's getting
this.
a little more fucked up now.
All right, guys, we're killing kids. You should probably stop. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
Problem
But
is he
then
doesn't-
the worst part is you see the divide in the Bat family with
Oh, yes.
Damon, because Damon is his own worst enemy and just a monster.
Well, Damian wants so bad to be. I mean, he wants the glory of being in the Bat family, but also has no qualms about murdering people. He was trained by the League of Assassins.
He's Ra's al Ghul's grandson.
As I was
What do you
saying, Ra's
expect?
al Ghul he's going to make him the head of the demon. Like, that's the.
Yeah,
point.
but
I mean,
still,
again, regular
you
timeline.
also see that he wants the approval of his father, and he always feels like he's in the shadow of Dick.
Sure, and I'm not gonna lie, Batman's not a great parent. Let's call a fucking spade here. Batman's a shitty parent, so Batman doesn't do a
is
very
the
good
greatest
job.
parent.
Yeah, he doesn't do a very
He
good
didn't have a
job.
good-
Billionaire. How
Yeah,
bad of
but
a
here's the
parent
thing:
could
he
he
didn't
be?
have
He
good
could
role
whatever he
models to
wanted.
lean on.
Correct. They're both
didn't have any
lying in a
parent
fucking
figures.
alleyway somewhere.
Yeah,
Wow, wow, you two. Wow.
Sorry,
I
man.
went there.
Gotta call it what it is. But yeah, like he's a piece of shit parent.
Yeah, he really.
You're right.
is, but
He's a billionaire, but like money can't buy happiness.
I've never
an
seen
extent.
anybody sat on a jet ski.
That is a fact. That is a fact. So, Dick's kind of come into his own. He's realized that like the kid that he was, didn't need to be. Now he's sort of basically ready to take the mantle of Batman whenever that opportunity presents itself. But Damian's still trying to prove himself better than Dick, as a better Robin, a better, son, person, whatever, because he feels like he's constantly living in the shadow of Nightwing. And I believe next up that's when he gets pissed off and throws his fucking baton and that's when he hits Nightwing in the face because he's not expecting it, and it kills him because he
That,
falls.
that's at the whole that you're not quite there yet. You're at the end of that's the next after.
Well, the next part leads into that whole scene.
Yeah, they're at
you see Two-Face holding the whole thing hostage, and then Superman captures him and takes him to Arkham Asylum, and that's where he's confronted with Batman's team. And then that's when Harley Quinn sneaks in and opens all the cages, but you basically find out that they've just been like executing all the villains one by one. Like,
Batman actually helps Superman kill Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, but is Solomon Grundy really like dead? Yeah,
sure. He's their Frankenstein.
Grundy.
Yeah, I liked Calendar Man's little thing. Like he had like 2 little panels, but it was funny. He's like, "Hey, remember me? Remember me? Oh, you don't remember me."
Yeah, I like DC's nod too. They're like offshoot fucking heroes that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah. He's like Calendar Man's talking to Wonder Woman, and it's like, "Oh, you don't remember me. You broke my collarbone and punctured my lung with a rib."
That's fucking great.
Oh, and then says it was the best date ever.
That probably is the best date for him, though, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, but then this leads into where, he's actually beating the shit out of, I think it was Robin's beating the shit out of Riddler. And Nightwing's like, that's enough. And then that's when he throws the baton. And
yeah, I jumped the gun a little bit, but I think that's like one of the most, I mean, in my opinion, like the biggest scene in that story, or at least that part of the book, because that shows, again, Damian didn't necessarily mean to kill him, but that's where Batman fucking sort of breaks, because again, Dick was
where it goes.
Yes.
That's where that divide goes from like, just like, hey, we really need to work this out to like,
it's fucking over.
America at this point.
More working it out. Yeah.
Well, Batman
it became America at this point.
He goes after Robin, kind of like he pushes him away, and literally then picks up Nightwing and says, "My son is dead." Like, like how disrespectful is that shit? Like,
yeah.
Well, and at that point, again, he's feeling the same sort of grief that Superman felt. So this is where both have experienced great loss. So this is where, and Batman blames Superman for that because Damian took his side. Damian was on the side of Superman and Wonder Woman, and then accused Batman of being on the side of all the bad guys that were in Arkham.
Right.
So that is your 100% fucking split right there down the middle. Batman's like, fuck you. Superman's like, fuck you too. And it's on like Donkey Kong.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Superman basically, he stops Catwoman, but also points her into direction to go to Bruce and save him. At this point, after Dick died, he stopped her kind of from robbing somewhere, got very mad and was getting ready to murder her, and then was like, you need to go be with Bruce. She goes to the house and just finds Alfred drunk and Bruce trying to kill himself with just trying to get his anger out, beating a wooden post to the point where he went through his gloves and he's just got like not much left of his hand, like not holding it together at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Dick was the kid he raised from very young and expected him to be the next Batman.
Well, you also get with that scene between Superman and Catwoman, you see how much respect there is still between the two of them. They hate each other, but like they understand why they hate each other and why they have to be on opposite sides. So like he respects them. Like Superman could easily just go slaughter Batman if he wanted to, but like he gives him time to grieve a bit, essentially.
Yeah, but that becomes kind of a recurring trend. Like there's a lot of times and through the whole 5 years where Superman could literally just murder Batman and he doesn't. He just kind of like, he always expects Bruce to come back around to just agreeing with him. Cause it's one of those things he really wants to have happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels like, and we've talked about this before too. Like the difference between Superman and Batman is Batman relies on Superman's ability to not kill.
Yeah.
That's why their fights don't end in either of their deaths. Batman has the moral code, like, I'm not going to be a murderer. And Superman's just like an all-around good guy. That's the...
Yeah, not in this comic.
Correct. And again, we're
Not
talking a
in this
completely different,
one.
completely different universe, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
So, but Jay, you mentioned that, I think, in the episode with Adam. Like, that's really all that stops fucking Superman from murdering people. Is he's like, yeah, I'm a good guy. I'm not going to murder you. Sorry, I'm a hero.
Yeah. Because if he really wanted to, he proves in this that he could kill hundreds of people. Very easily.
Hundreds of millions.
Very easily.
Yeah, not even a fucking question.
Yeah, well, you see it late in this. They have the parademons come, and they literally just hundreds just stack on top of Superman as he's beating the piss out of Darkseid's son. I forget what his name is. Karn something. I don't know. Whatever. Darkseid's son. He has just hundreds of parademons on him, and he's like, he forces them all to get off by just doing the hardest heat blast he possibly can, and just melts every single one of them.
Yeah, there's Kalibak.
Kalibak, that's it. Kalibak. And then Kalibak's like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. And he's like, I yelled at Superman. He's like, no, you don't, bitch. Fight me. He sounds like a straight Philly dude at that point.
Yeah, that's not until later on, though.
Yeah, that's way late. It's like the final.
No,
towards the final part of it.
There's a couple important things that happen between here and there. Like you get.
Yeah, that's where we find Lex Luthor is the next big thing. Find out Lex survived.
We see them all popping up, and then you got Batman forms his team. But then it cuts to one of the really interesting things for me was the way that they kind of handled Billy Batson, Shazam in this.
Oh yeah, and Black Adam. I forgot that was before they find Lex.
Yeah, because basically, they're all in the mines and stuff, and they're fighting Black Adam. And that's when Wonder Woman goes savage. She puts the lasso of truth around him. It was like, say the name, and literally they're like, "Yo, he's like hundreds of years old. Like you could kill him.
You're gonna kill him if you make him go back to human form."
Right,
and they're like, "Nope, don't care."
Yeah, and whatever. So he just turns into like this old ass man, and that's when you see Shazam kind of struggling with like, "Are we doing the right thing?" Because it's like the kid in him is like, yeah, we're not doing the right thing. But Shazam's like, I can see what needs to be done. Like, but yeah, because then once that happens, is pretty much then you get to the dark side. Well, no, they go down, they save Lex Luthor. He explains about the explosion and all that. And he just happened to have a secret bunker for this fucking plan. Like, you get Wonder Woman. She goes and saves that nation of female slaves.
Yeah, I like the fact that you see, and we've referenced this before, this is basically The Boys, where it's unhinged. And Wonder Woman's, whatever the fucking that chick's name, Queen Maeve. Like in the beginning, the first season of The Boys, like they fucking just let the whole goddamn plane of people go down. Fuck it. Like Wonder Woman's sticking by Superman's side regardless, because she's like, no, he's completely justified in feeling this way.
Well, it's not only that, she's an Amazon, so like she wants war. Like she's a soldier. Like she's the one like juicing him up to keep going. She's like, I'm always with you. Plus she's falling in love with him too on top of that. So it's like,
she's just co-signing the madness.
Right. Like she even says like earlier on, like right before the press conference, she's like, go ahead, say what I've been waiting for you to hear since the first time I met you. Like she's been waiting for him to finally do this. But Jay, we now end up on Apocalypse.
Yeah. All right. So, can you repeat that thing's name?
Apocalypse?
No, not Apocalypse. The son. I can never pronounce his name correctly.
Darkseid's son, Kalibak.
Kalibak. Okay. So Kalibak goes to Darkseid saying how he thinks Superman went peaceful. Yeah, he was wrong. And that it was the perfect time to finally attack Earth. Because obviously since Superman's peaceful, he's not going to do anything about it. So Darkseid releases him with their power demons. So you cut to like Superman on a stage, just giving his little press conference. And all of a sudden, Boom Tomb opens, power demons come out. And power demons come out, and Superman gets hit from Kalibak. And the actual words they use in the comic book when Kalibak sees Superman stand back up is, "Oh shit."
Yeah, he literally looks at me. He's like, "Something's different about you."
Yeah,
I really regret this decision.
Yeah, the comic goes, he's like, "What's wrong, Superman? So easily defeated." Superman, angry look, and then Superman looks at him and goes, "Oh shit."
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it was in that moment he knew he fucked up.
Yeah, and then literally like Superman just fucks his day up and then literally takes out all the parademons. Like it's not even a fucking joke.
Yeah, they all stacked up on him. And just heat vision dead.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how. For some reason I can't remember how he killed Kalibak, but I remember that he does kill him.
I'm pretty sure he just beats the shit out of him.
He just kills him with fists. I wasn't sure if there was some specialness to it, but I know he's dead.
Yeah, no, literally.
Like he's like real dead.
He grabs him by the throat, hits him towards the ground, and then literally just crushes his fucking skull.
Yep, not shocked. Superman's a savage in this, and he's my favorite about it. I'm just saying, this is my favorite version of Superman I've ever seen, just because he's violent.
Absolutely. I mean, it's good to see the other side of it. You know, again, we've had that talk. We will have that talk a million times over. What happens if Superman grew up bad? And this isn't necessarily growing up bad, but it's seeing the dark side of him.
This is showing the bad. If Superman has a really bad day, we're all gonna have a really bad day.
Yeah, and then this goes to two of my favorite panels that are like back to back in the comics. Is they then cut to like the aftermath. So it shows like the Watchtower and then like Batman in the Batcave or whatever. And literally Catwoman's like, so all across the world now they're chanting his name, and it shows Wonder Woman talking to Superman. She's like, "You saved so many lives," and this is Batman talking to Catwoman, and he's like, "He took so many lives." So it's just showing the straight dichotomy of thought between the two of them. Like Superman truly sees himself doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Where Batman's like, "Yeah, you really need to chill out, bro." Like, it's getting the threatening type levels here. And then that's when Batman's really like, "Yeah, we now can see what he's capable of. Like, we really got to kick it into high gear." And that's when they go and there's like the group of like Superman like people that are all like cracked out on Scarecrow's fear gas attacking the people, and they all show up to the same spot to save them. And then it cuts to Barry and Superman. You know, they're playing chess and they're having like deep conversations about like, how far are you willing to go? What are you really wanting to do? I don't know. I love this story. Like, it's so good. And then, you know, they go to the Batcave.
So, obviously I've only read the first couple parts of the book, which is fine. Spoil away for me. But
yeah,
now that we've kind of like, reviewed it, I guess
we're not even
so to say.
Yet. There's a couple more big things that happen. You see another major event is Damon's in the cave down at the Batcave, and he's looking at Dick's Nightwing suit, because obviously Batman always has everybody's suit inside like the little glass thing. Mm-hmm. And Alfred comes up and puts his hand on Dick, or not Dick, Damian, and is like telling him to like let your father like speak. and Damian just kind of whips around and just throws Alfred. Like, out of just anger and anything, and then immediately does it, screams no and how he's sorry. And then Batman sees Alfred getting thrown and is mad at Dick, or mad at Damian. I'm sorry, I keep calling them the wrong names. Mad at Damian, like, and scolds him for it. Not thinking that, like, obviously Damian feels bad because he does love Alfred. And it's just doing it out of anger.
Right, and that's where Batman like cuts off all communication and everything, and then literally Damian's literally like, "Yeah, can we get 4 words online?" And they release that Batman is Bruce Wayne. So, like everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh yeah, we skipped over the fact that that Batman kidnapped Hawk Girl too, and replaced her with Martian Manhunter. So Bruce would have a spy inside Superman's camp.
Yeah.
We forgot about that one.
Was that
That one comes out because Damian gets sets a fire, and Martian Manhunter is obviously I think it's his weakness. I don't know if he's.
I thought that was year 2 we find that out, because I know this one we go with Lobo.
No, you see, it's when they're in the Batcave. I'm pretty sure it's still year 1.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I could have swore that was year 2, but yeah. But
Yeah, because he's in the Batcave, and it's him. It's right after he throws Alfred into the computer. He's then there and talking, and yeah, sets the fire, and that's when you realize Martian Manhunter was Hawk Girl.
Shit.
Yeah,
Like
and
I
then
said,
you get
spoiler
Lobo.
Yeah,
Lobo's
spoiler
being
alert.
analyzed by Harley Quinn. She's his therapist.
Wait, what'd you say?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Lobo, when he's laying on the table with Harley Quinn as his therapist.
Oh yeah, that's
Because she kidnapped him.
The arrow cave. You should call it the arrow quiver.
The quiver.
You call it the quiver.
Yeah, and then
that sounds so much better.
She's basically like, yeah, like you need to stop Superman, and she puts like a bounty on him, so he goes to fight Superman. And Superman's like, literally, I'll do you one better. Like, I forget who he tells them to go after, but they end up like them two end up working together, basically. Oh, and then Superman turns on, get Harley Quinn for me. And then Harley Quinn takes the pill, and that's like one of the first times you actually see what it does. And then she fights Lobo and like
beats Lobo.
Actually competes with him and then beats him the fuck up. Meanwhile, you have the Green Arrow and Black Canary training in the cave.
The quiver.
Yeah.
I just like that it's called the quiver now.
Harley Quinn comes back, basically just drives the bike just straight into the wall, lets it fucking explode. And then you get all 3 of them versus Lobo, where Harley Quinn ends up decapitating him, just straight rips his head off. And then they lock him back up, and then they put his head back to his body so he can heal. And then they send Lobo to go after Darkseid.
All right, so up to this point, I know obviously we've sort of done an overview of, I wouldn't say page by page, but the main events of the story. So I want to get your guys' opinion. Like, what do you think of the story so far? What do you think of the writing, the art style, the story arc, the ideals behind everything? So, like, I want to get your opinions.
I love how Superman is in this so much. It shows the Superman I've always wanted to see, because he just does not care. If you're bad, he's going to kill you. If you're good, you have nothing to worry about.
And
his version of bad is very broad. So any form of crime is a death.
Well, the thing that I love about it is the fact that like literally all of them are at war, both mentally and physically. So you literally are not seeing anything being held back. Like everybody's going all out. There's nothing restraining people anymore, and that's crazy for me because it's like later on you get like Swamp Thing, and you see how powerful he truly fucking is, and you get like all these different characters that you might think are like B or C list characters, and it's like, oh shit, no, like these people are the real deal. Like you get Constantine, like you get these not non-players, but like when you think of the Justice League, you don't think of John Constantine.
Yeah, but
Sure.
you also realize how strong Raven is through this whole series and how much power she wields.
Right, like literally
Because
through,
like you always think
the
of her
series.
as like the little girl in the Teen Titans. Like, yeah, she's like definitely pretty strong, but like she's not competing with the big boys.
Well, through most of the series, she literally cuts herself off because she's like, I know I'm too powerful for all of you, and like it's not fair for me to take a side. Like,
Well,
But,
so
Well, she also gets kidnapped for a while there.
that's true too.
the thing I like most about it is, like you had alluded to, this is sort of like everyone unhinged. This is everyone at their most powerful, no holds barred. Like we're gonna go at it, and it's gonna be a war of the Titans, or in this case, the gods among us. So you really get to see those fucking OP powers from every single person sort of coming out. Superman's no longer holding back. Batman's no longer holding back. I mean, Wonder Woman's just going around co-signing Superman's ass beatings. It's phenomenal.
So,
We've got
Steve, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
So, you have not read Year 2, correct?
No, not yet. I'm going to steal that from you soon.
Cool. So, what are you like? Whose story are you wanting to dive deepest into so far from what you've seen?
So I have two of them that I really want to get into. Or again, I don't know if it does, but I'd like to see them
No,
dive
that's what
into
I'm
the
asking.
two storylines. So one, obviously, because he's my favorite, the Flash. And I know how like OP his powers are. I mean, that dude straight up fucking changes time and space and could just murder everybody, probably shy of Superman. And then because he's one of those characters that you don't, again, I have a bunch of his comics, but we don't get a lot of, not in the first book at least, time with Hal Jordan. See the Green Lantern storyline. Whether
I will tell you that you will get into Hal Jordan.
That's year 3, right?
I believe that's year 3.
And that's fine.
You will eventually get more deeper into Hal Jordan. And who was the other one you said?
Flash.
Guy.
Well, you get Guy and Hal, I believe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they play a big part in that because, well, it's a whole Green Lantern Corps.
Right.
But I'm totally
I won't
down
spoil
for that.
anything more for that for you, but you do get then. Who was the other one you said you wanted?
Flash.
Yeah.
You see a lot of Flash's internal struggle with being on Superman's side and this
Right
at the start.
Don't I won't lead too much into it, but the Flash is more of like you get more into like his psyche than like his actual actions.
Sure. I mean, again,
so
what we see from Superman, the bad Superman that Jay has always wanted. I don't, I'm not saying I want to see it because Flash is.
I want to see it.
No,
because everybody calls him a bitch and all this other shit.
Superman,
he's good. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Flash, dude. I mean, you see, they're two characters that are so fucking OP. Like the two of them could just run the earth. If Flash and Superman went balls to the wall, straight up murder fest, the world's over. Who is going to stop them? They're the two fastest people in the fucking universe.
Ready, Steve? I got a question for you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the strongest, how OP would you say Flash and Superman are?
12.
I'm gonna say Superman's a solid. Are we comparing them to like everyone, or is like they're specific versus each other?
No, just your personal opinion as far as you're seeing through this story in this comic.
So Superman, I'm probably gonna say is like a 9, solid 9. Okay. And just because the Flash hasn't been shown too much of like his OP-ness, I guess would be the easiest I sound like I just said penis. That's fantastic. The severe overpowered Flash I haven't seen yet, so he's down. I'm going to give him like a 3 or a 4 because again, he was fast enough to save a bunch of people from a nuke, which is fucking tough. Let's start there. But I haven't seen him go psychopath yet, so maybe we'll see that later.
I wanted to ask you this because I'm telling you right now, some of the characters that you will see, I'm not going to spoil who, make them look like 3s and 4s.
I actually look forward to that because the common theme.
Nobody even competes with the one. He literally just runs trains through the entire thing. He beats the fuck out of an entire corps by himself, almost.
We'll get there, Jay.
Gods.
Jay, we'll talk offline real quick. We'll talk offline because I don't want to spoil it for Steve.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. I am looking forward to this. It's something I've been definitely wanting to read up on ever since we started talking about it. So, it's awesome that we're doing this as like an underlying series on top of our, weekly podcast. This will be posted here and there. And again, we'll give the listeners the ability to sort of select the sub-series. But for me, having Superman, we're going to say look like a bitch. The easiest way I'm going to put it is fantastic, because he's always been one of those superheroes that's like, oh, it's so hard to beat Superman. He's so good. He's like, no, I want to see him get his shit kicked in. And not just because he's OP like 99% of the time anyway. It's because it brings a new light to other heroes or other villains or anti-heroes, anti-villains, whatever you want to call them. I want to see that. I want to see everyone unhinged. Like, that is phenomenal. I mean, that's like the best kind of world war in this universe.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is one of the best storylines that I've ever read, like out of all the comics. I mean, you obviously have the Infinity Gauntlet story. You have Secret Wars that we've mentioned a couple times. Like, you have Flashpoint. I mean, I put this entire series just right up there with it.
I agree. Well, do we have anything else to go on for year one?
No, just that it ends with Alfred fucking up Superman and Superman breaking Batman's back.
Straight up broke his back like Bane did.
Yep.
No, he did it a little more violently, I think.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure it was fucking bad.
And Alfred just straight up like headbutted the fuck out of Superman, just shattered his nose.
I'm about it. So, again, being that I'm only on year one, I obviously have nothing else to really go on. Jay, what about you?
No, I think Mark kind of hit the end, which I loved how it ended with just Alfred breaking his nose and then Superman being like, Superman just breaking Batman's back and just calling it an end.
So again, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in year two. Like I said, I really don't have much else to go on. I'll probably read that this week, and we'll record another episode in the near future for year two. Mark, that's it. All right, fantastic.
Yeah. That's all
right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to one of our first episodes of 2021. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
I'm Jay.
And thank you for listening to Something Super Podcast. Guys, give us a look on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're hosted on Anchor. You want to check us out there, all major streaming platforms. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, check us out. Something Super Podcast at gmail.com. We're always here for you. See you next week.